Well, here we are in November on a very sunny day down at the athletic ground, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ben Edwards, who's chair of the amateur rugby at London Scottish. Ben, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's park the professional side, okay? Let's leave that there because everybody knows about the professional side. But
Sure.
The amateur club is thriving, runs a number of sides. Tell us, for those people who are not quite sure, about the amateur side and the teams and so on.
Well, yeah, that's a really good question. A lot of the focus is on the flag that is London Scottish and is flying up the leagues and doing exceptionally well. But some people do miss on the fact that we do run a strong amateur rugby side. And that's really important for us at Scottish, to have a good, strong amateur base. It's important for the longevity of the club, but it's also important for the chaps that actually want to come down, invest a couple of hours a week in training, not take it too seriously, or take it to the level that matches their ability. And we at Scottish actually cater for all of those grades and those ability levels. We run a very successful Highlanders program, which is actually quite a youthful team, playing in the Canterbury Shield 2 division.
Top of that division at the moment, are they?
Lost on the weekend.
Lost on the weekend, not quite so.
Unfortunately, Canterbury haven't actually...
Competing for the top.
Competing very, very closely. We're probably in the top three, pretty sure we are. Haven't seen the website.
But a good standard of rugby.
Good standard of rugby, absolutely. These guys are really focusing on developing their game. The younger chaps, by and large, with a few seasoned old heads in there. Quite an interesting disparity between the youth and the age, but that's always good.
Experience, I think.
Age, I think, is actually probably more accurate than some of them. And apologies to the captain if he ever watches this. But very good team, very focused, and really keen to make rugby at Scottish a real priority for them. These chaps are putting a lot of effort in. So, kicked off their pre-season in January. January. Really, really very keen. I must say. In June, good pre-season under their belt. Young chaps competing at a pretty good standard, really good standard actually. When you play the likes of Worthing seconds, they're a national team side. Guys coming in and out of their first team structure, they're I think still unbeaten in National 2 South, their first team. So the kind of calibre of guys that they're testing themselves on a weekly basis is really good, really good. It suits chaps coming out of a university program. Certainly if guys have been lured to the city, being able to get themselves free on a Monday and a Wednesday night, working on their rugby, coming down here and going through a really good standard of coaching to develop their game. Aside from that, we run a Bees team that competes in the Middlesex Merit League. The Bees are a really good traditional team. They've been around for a number of years. They've, I guess, been the focus of a lot of our attention over the last couple of years to really rebuild and form them into a squad with the Highlanders that train together, run the same patterns, and there's a lot of interoperability between the two teams, which is good. My personal favourite, and I'm a long-serving stalwart of the Extra Bees, though thankfully retired.
Thankfully for them or for you?
I think for everyone, particularly for the referees. What they don't know about scrummaging, unbelievable.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Really good team. Now, the training is illegal. If you train, you're dropped. Absolutely. If we've got 13 chaps and 2 guys went to training, guess what? We'll have to forfeit. But no, really good amateur rugby. Probably not the best fitness level.
And still running a Picts side? Is that still running?
We're going to have some Picts fixtures this year. Actually, I think there's a big push to look at Melrose.
I remember playing against Malcolm Gillespie years ago. When I played for Wimbledon and playing against sides like that. And there's, he kicked me on a number of occasions. It's been great catching up with him. But that's what these sort of clubs are about, isn't it? It's about the heritage. It's about rugby for all. It's not just for the fittest elite people. It's actually whatever size you are, whatever speed you are. It doesn't matter. There's something for everyone.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I was gifted with both size and speed, so I didn't really have to just fit in. But absolutely, finding your level within the club is certainly something that we do cater for. Really, really key that we get guys and we indoctrinate them into Scottish, turn them into not only good players,
fine athletes,
finely tuned athletes, but actually have them become a part and participate in what it is to be a member of London Scottish. And the participation is really, really big.
And it's about the social side of it.
Absolutely.
Rugby is probably one of the most sociable games there is, and London Scottish is probably one of the most sociable clubs you can come to.
Oh, indeed. And with that comes many fine social aspects of touring, for instance.
Correct.
We've done a couple of late, Latvia for one. Last year when we went across to Belgium, we were guests to play at the Anzac Day weekend against London, New Zealand. Really good fun. And then this year we're considering, I believe it's the Czech Republic. So
fine rugby playing nations.
Certainly, a very, very social group, the Czechs. Absolutely.
Now, I mean, And you don't have to be Scottish. I notice you've got a very thick Scottish accent.
I have.
You don't have to be Scottish to play here either, do you?
Well, no, thankfully. I mean, I have a very close association with Scotland through my love of fast food.
Yeah.
You know, McDonald's for me has been my bridge into what it is to be,
And
to
deep
understand.
fried would be even better.
Absolutely, Scottish society can really revolve around deep fried foods. So you know, naturally, there's an affinity for me. But no, that's a key. I mean, we have chaps coming from all corners of the globe to play the rugby at Scottish. We had a chap came over and joined us for the part of the pre-season, first part of the year, a hooker from Brazil.
Brilliant.
Tremendous. You know, really good to have him along. Enjoyed his rugby, scored a try, delighted. And if they spread the word, guys coming to London, landing here, coming to Scottish, particularly the university chaps coming out of the US, there's always a home for them. There's always someone here that's going to welcome them with open arms.
Now, I said earlier about parking the professional side, but actually there is a strong link there, isn't there, between the professional and the rest of the club, and it's all one club, effectively.
Indeed, yeah, that's really something that is in the forefront of our minds as certainly in the amateur section, but also across the committee, and indeed I would say that the professional element of the club is ensuring that we actually move forward as a continuum. The club itself as a vehicle progresses, and this is something that requires a lot of thought and a lot of implementation in some pretty meaningful ways. We've tweaked the way that we structure the amateur side of the club to ensure that we push forward the better players that come out of our system. We attract good players in there that, hopefully we could find some guys that are going to go on and push for spots in.
And that tweaking, the Highlanders have become effectively the first team of the London Scottish Amateur Club, is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a good distinction to make. It really is the first amateur team. Good little rebranding, I guess. It was the thirds, great. A lot of people enjoy playing thirds rugby, but for us at Scottish, that is a really big vehicle for us, and it's a big draw to bring someone into the Highlanders.
Right. Yeah, right. And of course, it's not just about the Saturday. I mean, anyone who comes down here on a Sunday morning will see hundreds of kids running around to see Kenny Logan coaching, and it's that whole aspect, isn't it? You've got internationals down here, you've got Joe Public, and you've got everybody mixing in, creating a great atmosphere.
Indeed. The junior element of our club is exceptionally important to us. We need to develop younger players constantly, and to keep someone within the London Scottish system is exceptionally valuable to the club. It really does produce players for life and indeed supporters for life.
And not forgetting, of course, the links with St Andrews University. We've got the Varsity Match here on November the 30th, followed by a dinner, I think I'm right in saying, of some sort, or certainly entertainment.
Oh, indeed. St Andrews are a great example, and it's great to have them coming for the Varsity Match. We played their old boys last year. They gave us a bit of stick, but that was okay. Really tremendous.
Time for revenge at some stage?
Well, let's hope so. We do have a good link there. We've got a few St Andrews old boys playing in our Highlanders team this year that have come down to the city, working all the hours God sends, but have managed to carve out a bit of time for London Scottish. But it's great that we have links to Scottish universities and universities that are producing really good rugby players. We really are very keen to push that association with St Andrews and indeed make sure they have a really great time when they come down here and play Edinburgh.
Now, anyone who's seen this maybe just by searching on the internet or whatever and wants to come down and play or be part of the sub, or just even a social member, how do they get in touch?
Well, the most simple and straightforward method is to click through off the website. Generally, we have a reply out within 24 hours, welcoming the guys along. Bring your boots is generally the first question. What position you play, and come along. We'll bring you into this system. We'll introduce you into our coaching mechanism. We generally grade people pretty quickly and push them into the right team for them. I'd encourage anyone that's thinking of taking up rugby in London. Perhaps you've moved. Or indeed getting back into it to really to get in contact with us and get involved.
Well, Ben, look, thanks for giving up time. I know you're a busy man, you've got to get back, you've got a meeting to go to, but long may it continue to flourish, and long may I was going to say the two sides, not the two sides, but the club, whether it's professional, amateur, junior, mini, Bs, Picts, As, Highlanders, continue to flourish as well with everybody involved. So thank you very much.
Cheers.